So, Stevie, what did we learn from that Liverpool game?
Not too much, but, you know, with Ekitike, if your signers are not scoring goals but they're setting people up, then that's fine. Nice to see Mo Salah scoring as well. I think probably they ran out of steam after about an hour, because before that they were pretty sharp, certainly the way they went after Bilbao. They went at them at pace often, so that's a good sign. But again, tough to really hang your hat on anything. Again, it gets people minutes on the field. As I said, they got 2 weeks before the first game of the season, and they did drop off after an hour. So that just tells them where they are in terms of their fitness.
How was Florian Wirtz?
He was okay. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more in the final third from him. But as I said, you've still got another 2 weeks to go, and somebody like him, when they're at the sharpest, not just with the legs but with their brain, that's when you'll see him doing damage, particularly in the final third.
You're all right. You seem a bit down.
No, it's pre-season. I listened to you lot last night. I mean, to be honest, I mean, Shaka and him going at it, Shaka was right, but he was right as well.
Right.
You know, it's pre-season, guys. Calm down.
OK, all right. There we go. Robbo, what was your takeaway from this? And don't say it was pre-season.
No, I think there's some good things from Liverpool's point of view. The speed in which they played that first hour, the combination between Frimpong and Mo Salah down the right-hand side. I was impressed with Szoboszlai in midfield, the way he rotated positions at times with Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz came a little bit too deep for my liking, and Ekitike obviously made the goal, as Stevie just said, with that bit of pace, change of pace, went past his man, a good little cutback. There was also one or two worrying moments when Liverpool tried to play into midfield, as they did very well in the first half. They had that extra player in there, and when Athletic Club went narrow, they gave the ball away 2 or 3 times, and it looked as though they were easy to counter-attack. That's something that Arne Slot's got to make sure it doesn't happen. If they give the ball away in those areas, they could be in trouble, because Kerkez wants to go forward, Frimpong wants to go forward. At times, Gravenberch was even going forward in the game. So that's the downside, and obviously didn't defend set plays well. But the plus side was the pace in which they played, the way they won the ball back in that first half, the combination between Frimpong and Mo Salah, and Gakpo scoring a couple of goals. So it was a good night's work for Liverpool, I would say.
To Stewie's point about the midfield Liverpool, at times it looks very light in terms of numbers, because you have guys that their first instinct is, once they regain possession of the ball, they're going forward. And it was impressive how quickly Frimpong gets forward, how quickly Mohamed Salah, and that combination is working really well. Florian Wirtz on the turn, he's going forward. Szoboszlai, he's joining in the attack. Ekitike, impressive as well. Then you get presence in the attack on the left-hand side by Gakpo and Kerkez, and you're thinking, man, when these guys win the ball, they're going. Here's the problem, though. It becomes a broken team at times and stretched. You got a back line and you got your 2 center backs, and then you got everybody else besides whoever is holding the line in the midfield. They're all going. A little light in the midfield, which then exposes them to counterattack opportunities. So this is something that I think they're going to have to address. You have a lot of attack-minded players. Do you have enough balance to account for potential counterattack opportunities from other teams? And if we're seeing it, teams that are preparing to play Liverpool in the upcoming season, they're seeing it as well. If you're able to break through that first line of pressure, they're light in numbers in the midfield, you can get after them in the attack.
A lot of speculation, of course. We've talked about it a lot, about the possibility of Isak making that move from Newcastle to Anfield. Eddie Howe addressed the situation once again, saying you have to earn the right to train with us. We are Newcastle United. The player has a responsibility here to be part of a team and part of a squad. You have to act the right way. So that is also at play here. No player can expect to act poorly and train with the group as normal. This is, of course, Isak, who didn't go on pre-season with Newcastle. They're back training now, and it's basically about what he needs to do for the team to get back and allowed to train. Is Eddie Howe handling this correctly? Yeah,
I love that. He's basically coming out and saying, Alexander Isak, if he thinks he can just walk back in and think nothing's happened, and he hasn't caused me or the team a problem and taken the focus off the team, that's what this statement's all about. I love it, absolutely, 100%. I think it sends the wrong message. If Eddie Howe was to come out and say, we're delighted he's back, you know, all is forgiven. No, you have to take responsibility, and the manager can't just cave in. He
Is
has
this
to
not cutting
show.
off your nose, though, to
No,
spite your
not
face,
at all.
considering
No.
how much you need Isak? You want him to stay?
No, not at all. You're going to, I would assume, you're going to earn some respect from the player. Because the player was one, the player probably at some stage when he was away on his own thinking, well, if it doesn't work out, they'll be glad I'm back. Well, Eddie Howe will obviously take him back, but he's just telling him, you need to respect us. It's not just about you, it's about the whole team.
Is this power play going to work, Robbo?
I think Eddie Howe's done the right thing. Whether it works or not, I think it's almost saying that Isak, the relationship's going to be broken. Even if Isak comes back now, the crowd aren't going to be too impressed with him because he wants to go away from Newcastle, are fervent supporters. The other players will be very pleased that Eddie Howe has stood up, to Stevie's point. The other players say, yeah, the manager's absolutely right. If this player thinks he doesn't want to play for us and he wants to go and do other things and he doesn't want to train properly, he's got to be disciplined. He can't just think he can walk back in and start joining in again and be our star player, because he won't be the star player because he hasn't trained properly for quite a while. It'll be 6 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks before he's fully fit. So it looks to me as though Eddie Howe and Newcastle may have to at some point think that Isak will go and get a big fee for him.
But Gab, when you've been on, you've talked about the fact that you don't think he's going to go.
I mean, I don't know for certain, but you asked me to speculate, and I'm speculating that he probably wouldn't go, simply because it's an enormous fee, because Liverpool, I think, have other needs, and because Liverpool went out and signed Ekitike. I mean, these are the basic reasons. This whole earn the right to train with a team. I have a sneaking suspicion that if he's still a Newcastle player on September 1st, or if he signs a new contract, maybe one with a release clause, as I've mooted, all of a sudden he will have earned the right to train with his teammates once again. So I think Eddie Howe's saying the right things from his perspective. But if somehow this is somehow repaired, and I don't think it's impossible that it'll be repaired, I think things are going to be okay. Newcastle fans, or football fans in general, I know people like to lampoon fans and whatever. They're under no illusions. They live in the real world. They know that Alan Shearer said no to Manchester United and chose Newcastle, but he was kind of a one-off, right? Others are going to realize that if he's going to get an enormous amount of money, he's not from Newcastle. He moved there. They paid a huge fee to get him out of another club, to get him from Real Sociedad to Newcastle. And he's a professional footballer. And as long as he's there, I don't think they're going to turn on him or make his life hell or boo him at every turn. They may not love him the way they love some other players, but I think that's understandable. But I think Eddie Howe's playing this correctly for now. And I think if he does stick around, I think it's going to be business as usual on the football pitch anyway, for the season to come.
There were 2 games today. You had Liverpool A against Athletic Club A, and the reserves kind of side played before that. Darwin Nunez included in that reserve side, and he would score, Gab. Where are we with Darwin Nunez's future at the moment?
Well, he's being offered all around Europe to anybody who has a pulse and a paycheck.
Wow.
And I think everybody knows that as of right now, there's a lot of clubs who are saying, yes, we'll give him another chance on our terms, but we only want to spend this much. And I think a lot of clubs are confident. Milan, of course, are one club that have been mentioned, that they feel he can contribute, because maybe not as a goal scorer, but as a guy who runs around, wreaks havoc. He puts in a shift. And to us, it's worth this much. And we know that every day that passes, he's going to get cheaper and cheaper. You would have to think that if Liverpool are seriously pushing, reports today of another, bid of £110 million knocked back for Isak, that they're going to have to recoup some of that money through the sale of Darwin Nunez. So I think it's what you're seeing right now is very much a game of chicken.
Yeah, you were sat here so smug when you sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich. This is how you do it. You bring players in for 30, sell them on for 70. Liverpool showing people like Manchester United how it should be done. Yeah. Darwin Nunez has been an absolute failure from day one in that sense, hasn't he?
Wow. What you want?
Well, you paid 75 million for him, and now you're trying to sell him to. You're trying to sell him to everyone, and nobody wants him.
Club signs a player player doesn't produce. Everybody gets it wrong.
You can't be sat there blowing
Everybody
you
gets
can't
it
be
wrong.
sat. Oh, everyone gets it wrong one
everybody,
time, so that's
yeah.
all right. Okay,
Yeah.
all right then.
Well, let's go and look at what Fergie got wrong.
Oh my, right, Carl, let's get the black and white footage
sorry.
out, shall we?
Oh,
There we
sorry.
go.
All right, they made a mistake. Okay.
Right.
Is that what you want?
Well, yeah, I do want you
All
to
right,
admit
they made a
that
mistake.
they have made a massive
They
mistake.
made a mistake.
Oh, so go on, Gab.
They won a league title with Darwin Nunez as part of the forward rotation.
Oh, Gab,
So
you're not
did he live
helping
up
my
to-
cause. Don't,
No,
he was on the
no.
back foot. What are you doing? Don't jump in.
All I'm saying is, was he worth 75 million? No. Will they need to take a loss on it? I know you love it when I talk amortization. It gets you all excited. You know, the reality is they would need to get somewhere north of 30, 35 million not to lose money on it. They may get there, they may not, because he still has a couple years left on hefty wages. But, you know, I think, I know it's fun to mock Darwin Nunez, but you think you have to look at what he contributed to the team in the time he was there, and did the team win things? And yes, they did. They won. They won a title.
Chiesa won the title last season as well. Then.
Hey, Gab, you busted his bubble big time. He's not happy. You should see his face. He's nearly crying here.
It's weird, Ali, because when you think of Nunez and possibilities as to which clubs, you just for some reason Atletico Madrid is one of those that just keep popping up. But obviously they've spent their money elsewhere this summer.
Yeah, and that is a position that is heavily occupied. Julian Alvarez, my guy, Alexander Sorloth.
Sure.
And you're thinking, okay, well, where could he possibly go? But that is a matchup made in heaven. Simeone, Darwin Nunez, personalities, you need that sort of, you're thinking maybe Diego Costa ends up coming out of the soul of Darwin Nunez somewhere, somehow. Maybe that's what we're looking for if you're Darwin Nunez. But somehow I feel like the days of Darwin Nunez at Liverpool are not quite over just yet. And the reason I say that is you take the performance today of Hugo Ekitike, and I know the sample size is small, but it's encouraging enough to where if you're making decisions for Liverpool, financial decisions for Liverpool, you ask yourself, well, is it worth it for us to go chase Alexander Isak and pay the amount of money that we would have to pay for the player when we have a player in Hugo Ekitike who can do some of the same things that Alexander Isak can do? And we have a guy that we're already paying in Darwin Nunez that he's not going to start. The other guy will start, but he can be a valuable piece coming off the bench that maybe without all the pressure on him to be the guy can give you valuable minutes. I'm merely presenting a case that Liverpool don't have to chase Alexander Isak and that Darwin Nunez could be useful enough for them.
I agree with Ali 100%. Listen, if Liverpool have decided there's a figure, and if we don't get it, he stays, then, as Gab said, he scored some goals last season. When we've got the FA Cup, we've got the League Cup and all that coming around. So that's fine, yeah. Ali, you are 100% correct.
Well, thank you, Stevie.
You're welcome.